Hey, hello. Can you hear me good? Um, I just wanted to talk a little bit before you guys watch all the clips I put together. But I just did this because I want everyone to see how insane it is when you see the plethora of women of color, sharing what they go through when it comes to misogyny, discrimination, abuse, harassment, how those intersect, how it looks different for all of them, but simply it's just like it seems like a rite of passage for all of them to go through, especially in the like film and television industry. And we need to remember stuff like this so it doesn't continue to happen. It doesn't happen again. It doesn't become the norm. And we can always hold those standards as far as what's acceptable and what's not. Um, I started saving these videos like 2 years ago because I knew I wanted to do something with them, and I guess it's this, just trying to put it on display for everyone to see. And when you do see it all, you look at it like wow, simply at a loss of words and disappointed, disgusted, like I was. These are women that I've grown up watching. I've grown up watching people like Kerry Washington, Gabrielle Union, Viola Davis, Regina Hall, Regina King, like the list goes on. And it just sucks that Octavia Spencer, I'm sorry. It just sucks that they have to go through these things, and it seems like they're undervalued, overlooked. They're not shown enough appreciation, not only by awards, and also through how they're paid and how they're treated. It just sucks because they are amazing at what they do. They've made names for themselves. They really are great. It sucks that they play by the rules. They do everything that they're told they need to do. They do the hard work and the work that everyone has to do in any field. You work hard to get where you want to get to. But then when you get there, it's like there's still 10 times work for you to do. When you're a woman of color, it's like you break those glass ceilings, but then they come back. They shape themselves again. There's always another obstacle when at this point in their career they should be, just able to be treated like their counterparts, and they're not. And this varies. All of it varies through all industries, and that's why I included other clips from like music and anything that I saw with my eyes. And through all this, I learned they're less likely to retire. They're less likely to speak up about anything that is outside of what their work is, whether it's political, personal, anything they've been through as far as mistreatment. They're like 10 times more likely to be silent about it. I just put all these together for so many reasons, and I hope you guys can take from this what I did, and is that we need to constantly speak up about it, constantly give them support, because if we don't, who will? And if we don't, how will it ever change? And don't be mad at the messenger. Don't be mad at the people this is happening to, because we all have to keep in mind this happened to them. This continues to happen to them. And no one's the perfect victim. No one's the perfect person. If you want to be mad at someone, if you want to point the finger at someone, if you want someone to blame the system, blame the people handing out the checks, blame the people that write these articles. Those are the people that are mistreating, the people that, we connect with on screen, that we love to see perform and tell these stories. And it just, this happens across all industries too, not just TV and film. So let's also remember that. But, that's all I wanted to say. So let's get into it.
But the male hadn't had any kind of critical success, but had been in a movie where he was hot. Mm-hmm. And he got offered $10 million, and I got offered $500,000. Well, I said no, and then they went and found a newcomer who did it for $50,000.
Yeah, I mean, you're an Oscar-winning actress, Olivia.
I'm very aware that if I was Oliver Coleman, I'd be earning a lot more than I am. I know of one pay disparity, which is a 12,000% difference.
12,000%?
Wow, I'll tell you about that later.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, do the maths.
I think I'm just now to the point where I'm getting paid the same as my male co-stars. I was just told that hey, you're getting equal pay, and I was like, and I almost got emotional. I was like, I have never been paid the same as my male counterparts. And I was married to an actor for years, and he always got paid more than me, and I actually worked more. I've made pretty much the same amount of money on things for years.
After Zero Dark 30, I was sent a lot of scripts where it was a female protagonist, and they wouldn't do my deal until they knew who the male actor was because they needed to do his deal first and then see what was left over.
I ask for the same amount and they say no because you're not worth that much. As she was, because she's bigger than I am. But it's the same job, it's the same amount of hours, the same movie.
And bigger by what standard? Let's keep it all the way 100.
But that's
and
what
bigger
I'm
by what
saying.
standard and who determined that standard?
You know,
you're the only show on a whole ass network where your show has had critical acclaim. You've been not only nominated, you've won. So you want to go by social media, you're killing that. You want to go by who can't walk down the street and without being recognized and loved by all different kinds of people, that's you too. So worth based on what?
Who decides who's a bigger star? That they have Q ratings or whatever else they think they have, but some things aren't quantifiable.
And you feel like a jackass, right? So, but it's all relative. So you feel like a jackass, you feel like you should just be grateful and be quiet because it's more than others, right?
and it's more than I've ever,
More than I've ever
especially
made in
low
our
income family. Yeah.
So it's like, lady, stop it. But at the same time, when those lists come out, when Forbes drops the top paid actresses in television, the top paid actresses in film, and there's no women of color on it.
Because we're rarely on TV.
And that feeling carries over in negotiation. And that's why we're not in the top 25 top paid people in front of, behind, like, because we are so conditioned to be grateful
100%.
to have not even a seat at the table. We're not even anywhere near the table. We're like near the door, like crammed with the
or
a gang
the window
of people.
just peering in.
Yeah, and we're
because I always feel like I fail when I speak about it because I can't help but feel already so gracious to do what I do. And I feel like culturally, I was raised to just feel so appreciative.
And they don't really see my value, but somehow magically you saw the value in all these other people, and that value comes with a very clear number that is nowhere close to what we're asking for. I'm asking for a crumb compared to what you've actually paid and not gotten a return on. So what are we even really talking about? They will pass you over and give the money to the next person who's the squeakier wheel.
We won't talk about gender inequality of pay because a lot of the women who've stepped forward, and I stand in solidarity with them, okay? What they're getting paid, which is half of what a man is getting paid, well, we get probably a tenth of what a Caucasian woman gets. And I'm number one on the call sheet. And then I have to go in and I have to hustle for my worth. That's what I feel like I'm doing. When I demand what I feel, listen, I have more than a 30-year professional career. I had a friend who said, yeah, but Viola, your career is better than my career. I said, yeah, but you can't compare me to you. Because once again, I got the Oscar, I got the Emmy, I got the 2 Tonys. I've done Broadway, I've done off-Broadway, I've done TV, I've done film, I've done all of it. I have a career that's probably comparable to Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, Sigourney Weaver. They all came out of Yale. They came out of Juilliard. They came out of NYU. They had the same path as me, and yet I am nowhere near them. Not as far as money, not as far as job opportunities, nowhere close to it. But I have to get on that phone and people say, you're a black Meryl Streep. You are, and we love you. We love you. There is no one like you. Okay, then if there's no one like me, you think I'm that, you pay me what I'm worth. And even in terms of roles, a sculptor wants to build the most unbelievable building. That's how I feel, that's what I do as a human being, as an artist. I want to build the most complicated human being. But what I get is the third girl from the left.
Like, that's so cool, but that could never happen to me. I'm always going to be the best friend. I'm always going to play the best friend.
Seriously, we were never Barbie, we were always Christy.
Yeah, you're always Christy. And even when I was starting in Hollywood, all the roles I would go in for were the best friend of the pretty white girl. And so for the first time, I'm the pretty white girl. Another part of that was that, you know, I got to be a voice for so many young black women or women of color who see themselves on screen as, because these girls that come up to me, they look like me. They look like how I looked as a child and how I craved to see that. You know, I craved that so much as a child, and it was just never there. So all of my heroes were, you know, white and blonde, and there was nothing wrong with that, but I just couldn't, it felt outside of myself.
Yeah.
It felt like something over there for women that looked like that.
I'm not gonna feel good on set if I feel like I am undervalued and my
money doesn't match my level of contribution. Because when it comes time to sell this piece of art,
I gotta do that.
You're gonna have me prancing around the country
Yes.
and the world like a show pony. But all these other people that don't have to do all the selling work of it
are making way
more. But if it's a win, it's not gonna be because of me, and if it's a failure, it's my face.
It's gonna be because of
It's gonna be
me.
because of me.
So you need the executives and the studio people, all the studio heads, all the people who are deciding the budgets and making the decisions are all older white men. They're the ones who live in Bel Air and Beverly Hills in the big houses. They're the ones who are really getting rich off the content. The talent makes a piece, but we feel like it's a lot because it's more than we've ever paid before. You know,
we're talking about in success. When everyone else gets paid, can I get paid too? A tiny little fraction.
Yeah.
There is no skin off your nose.
And it's
they're
very
like,
rare, very rare that they give people profit.
And you come into this industry and you are encouraged to use your sexuality.
But
and you
aren't we all? Haven't we? Isn't that? I mean, hasn't
No,
that
not
been
really.
like,
No.
What do you mean?
Not been asked to use my sexuality in my
Really?
in my career.
But
no,
even
not
just
as
as
a
like
black
a
woman,
vibe,
no, not
as a
seen as it's a particular look and a vibe and image.
And you don't think it
very
includes
rarely, no, it has
sexuality?
not been a majority of that.
No, I gotta tell you, I'll echo Angela's experience. I will say, for me, I don't think I've ever gotten any job based on
Right.
Some people would say that we're not good looking, and another would say that the lead actress is not white. This is a gigantic market. And there are specific ways that it's run. The big, huge Hollywood paradigm fits very few people. And that's the way it is.
When you say the paradigm fits very few people, you mean for leading roles?
For a lot of things. For leading roles, to produce, to write, I'd say in all areas.
Oh, come on. You mean?
Yeah, okay, like, please. Who runs all these shows? They're like primarily men, primarily white men.
White guys,
Yeah. You.
I don't run.
No, because you just didn't choose to. So that's a specific point of view, a specific voice. I mean, example, like a lot of, let's say, first-time filmmakers are primarily young men. Primarily are scripts that they wrote themselves. So in their own version, because when you're a first-time filmmaker, you want to make the film that you want to make. That vision does not include, or their vision it won't be as easily swayed because they're holding tight to what they grew up with. And then what happens is those young male white filmmakers then move up and get deals. And that's the vision that keeps on going forth. I must say that the people that I know who have partners of a different race, there's a difference. There's a difference because their vision is expanded by their life partner. So
difference in what they write?
Yeah, and what they produce. Yeah. Just their vision. Just what is the possibility that when you see a script, and because it does not specify what race the character is, that you don't automatically think the person is white.
Actors and actresses on his films were getting paid very, very little because they're going to get awards. You're going to get an award.
God forbid we get both. Like people get both. Like you get paid and an award.
Creatively fulfilling. Give me my money. You're in this for money. You're in this to make money. As long as they can divert our attention and lure us with the creative carrot. We don't care about a carpet. I don't care about a statue. I care about sending my kids to college.
We're not asking for more. We're asking for equal.
And for people of color, when has an award ever paid off financially later?
Right.
Like they'll be like, oh my God, you won an Oscar or a Golden Globe or an Emmy or whatever it is. We are prepared to offer you, hold on to your horses, 4th lead on a CBS procedure.
This day has been incredible, and there's a ton of women in the room, but I don't see enough color, and I didn't see enough color when I walked in the room today.
I was offered a $500,000 deal last week to do a comedy special. However, Amy Schumer was offered $11 million, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle $20 million. Then Amy Schumer went back and renegotiated $2 more million because she said I shouldn't get what the men are getting, they're legends, however I should get more, and Netflix agreed. When we asked Netflix to explain the difference, why the money was so different, they said, well, we believe that's what Monique will bring. We said, well, what about my resume? They said, we don't go off of resumes. Then we asked them, what was it about Amy Schumer? And they said, well, she sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a big movie over the summer. Is that not Amy Schumer's resume? And then Netflix said, by the way, we believe Monique is a legend too. Why shouldn't I get what the legends are getting?
She says she has some problems with CW and oftentimes butt heads with them when it came to her hair as a black woman. And they didn't have anyone on set to actually do her hair, and Vancouver didn't have a lot of places to actually get her hair done. She would fly on her days off back to LA to get her hair done and then fly all the way back. This is seasons after season asking could she wear her natural hair, being told no, just like Kat Graham did.
Any money that I had, I was actually the lowest, I'm not sure if I should even say this, but I was the lowest paid of the cast for 6 years. I didn't find that out until later. It didn't matter. I was so broke, I would have been happy to sign anything.
Right.
Like, did you guys read this headline? Teen Wolf actor Holland Roden said the cast are doing the movie for quote-unquote love and not quote-unquote for money. Love does not pay the bills, motherfucker. Why would you want to work in an environment where you're being severely undercompensated?
I had a publicist and I wasn't happy with my hair and makeup, and she said, like, I wouldn't really stir the pot because I haven't had a black girl on the cover in a really long time, so let's not, like. And so I was like, oh, we're not gonna work together anymore.
It's not just the Oscars that fail black women, it's the entire awards ecosystem.
I see a line, and over that line I see green fields and lovely flowers and beautiful white women with their arms stretched out to me over that line. But I can't seem to get there no how. I can't seem to get over that line. That was Harriet Tubman in the 1800s. Let me tell you something. The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity. You cannot win an Emmy for roles that are simply not there. So here's to Shonda Rhimes, people who have redefined what it means to be beautiful, to be sexy, to be a leading woman, to be black. And to the Taraji P. Hensons, the Kerry Washingtons, the Halle Berrys, the Nicole Beharies, the Megan Goods, to Gabrielle Union, thank you for taking us over that line.
Months ago, Jessica Chastain, we're really good friends, and we had such a great time working on The Help. So she contacted me and she said, I want us to do a comedy. And I'm like, yeah. She called me maybe 6 months later, which would have been like last March. And we were talking about pay equity and with men and women. And she was like, it's time that women get paid the same as men. I'm like, yeah, Jessica, it's time. I said, but here's the thing. Women of color on that spectrum, we make far less than white women. So we're gonna have that conversation about pay equity. We gotta bring the women of color to the table. And we talked numbers. And she was quiet. And she had no idea that that's what it was like for women of color. I don't know, these are happy tears. She said, Octavia, we're gonna get you paid. And fast forward to last week, we're making 5 times what we asked for.
And I've been on productions where I've been the only black person, the only female, and I needed things, and I didn't have anybody I could call. I just had to bite the bullet, and I had to show up every day with grace, and I had to do my job. It's happened more times than you would ever know. You know, so when you see a black woman show up on this screen, know that she had to work quadruple hard, or whatever the word is, than her counterparts. Know that she's getting paid just a fraction of what her counterparts are getting paid. And we do it with grace each and every time. We show up and give it our all.
Black actress and producer in Hollywood. Of course our box office success has never mattered.
I'm a black actress and producer in Hollywood. Of course, I'm going to have to work until it's the end. Because we can't retire. We don't make enough.
I do social media for a living. I have a manager. My manager has clients on her roster. My manager has white and black clients on her roster. Who do you think gets paid less, has more followers, better engagement, and can actually sell product than her white clients? I'm on Asia's roster and I get paid less than her white clients that I have more followers and better engagement than.